Has a greater persecution already begun? That's a question I'm asking myself right now, to be honest with you. Has a greater persecution of Christians begun? And I'm not talking about other places that condemn and slaughter Christians like cattle. I'm talking about in America. On Friday, I went out, went for a walk, let loose some steam, twisted my ankle, and I decided to sit and listen to the preachers around the corner preach the gospel. And what I've seen was greater hostility from non-believers. And I'm not talking about verbal assault. I'm not talking about Christians being mocked by non-believers. I'm talking about an actual physical display of vehemence. And what I mean by that was one out of the many people that were mocking and making fun of and spewing hatred out of their lips, one of them decided to get physical and basically kick a speaker that a preacher was using to speak through a microphone, like a PA. And it really got me to thinking, because a lot of us seem to think that in America the only persecution we get is basically tauntings and teasings and the words of hatred that come out of our mouth. Well, I got news for you. And I'm starting to see this, and I'm starting to believe that America is now trying to find a way, as of this point on, to silence Christians. Okay? And I was reading Daniel chapter 6, in my study. And I believe Yahweh pointed this out to me because it never spoke more clear. And I like reading the book of Daniel, honestly, because there's much revelation that is being revealed. And I'm going to read chapter 6 at verse 4. Then the presidents and the satraps sought to find occasion against Daniel as touching the kingdom, but they could find no occasion nor fault, because he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Verse 5. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his Elah. Elah is a title for God. Not just the living God, but other gods. Then these presidents and satraps assembled together to the king, and said thus to him, King Darius, live forever. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this verse, okay? Because after that, I'm going to break it down, then I'm going to explain something to you. Chapter 6, verse 7 of Daniel. All the presidents of the kingdom, the deputies and the satraps, the counselors and the governors, have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a strong interdict, that whoever shall ask a petition of any Elah or man for 30 days, save of you, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Let me break this one down for you again. All the presidents of the kingdom, the deputies and the satraps, the counselors and the governors, have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a strong interdict, that whoever shall ask a petition of any Elah or God or man for 30 days, save of you, O king, he shall be cast into a den of lions. Hello? What are we witnessing today? There are laws being passed that are starting to silence Christians. They've already started in the schools long ago. And from what I am to understand, and from what I have read and heard, Of course, the media is not going to share with you because the media would rather keep things under hush-hush, is that they are signing laws in certain states now that are going to prohibit reading scriptures to children. Why? Because it's considered child abuse. It's time to wake up and realize that a greater persecution is on the rise. And it is happening now in America. I'm not trying to be mean, but I am being direct, okay? It's just what I've witnessed with these windows that Yahweh has given me. On Friday night, I've not only started to see it on the internet, well, you know, I've not only seen it on the internet, but I've seen it in public streets. And there are things that people will not tell us, even in the media, because they want to keep it shut. I'm going to continue on to verse 8. Now, O king, establish the interdict, and sign the writing, that it be not changed, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alters not. Therefore King Darius signed the writing in the interdict. Has a greater persecution begun? While 10 nations are violent towards Christians, we're starting to see a great rise of that same vehemence, and it is drawing towards a physical line. And it's surprisingly enough to a point where I'm starting to fear. I fear Yahweh, but I'm also starting to have a feeling in my heart, and I believe this feeling in my heart, that soon there are going to be ways that America is going to silence Christians. They're going to prohibit street corner preaching. No, this isn't a prophecy. Once again, I'm not a prophet. But this is what I believe might happen. And I'm encouraging you all to take a stand. Okay? We're to not be ashamed of the gospel of Yahshua the Messiah. We're to stand up and be bold. Peter, in Acts. I wanted to do a quick cut in real quick because I managed to go through the word. And it's actually Acts chapter 5 and verse 17 all the way to 42, when the Pharisees tried to stop the disciples from teaching in the name of Yahshua the Messiah, and Peter stood up against them. I'm just going to read, because of that, I'm going to put it right here too. I'm just going to read verse 42, what happened after Peter spoke boldly against them. And every day in the temple and at home they ceased not to teach and to preach Yahshua the Messiah. That was what I wanted to get across. I now give you back to your regularly scheduled video. I want to encourage you, my brothers and sisters, because I love you all and I want to see the body of Christ strengthened. Do not be ashamed of the gospel. Stand up for what is righteous and just. I love you, my brothers and sisters. Peace, and Yahweh bless.